Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. In today's episode, we're gonna hear Darrell's final remarks against his sentence. The judge is asking him what does he think about his recommendation for his sentence. Should the judge do in regards to sentencing him? But knowing Darrell, he doesn't even know what that means, so he's gonna start doing his last words, I guess. This is what it felt like. And also, I'm gonna do this in a couple. I think in two parts is I'll be able to go through it because Jesus, it's a lot of talking. So we're gonna split it up. But for now, I skip a little bit ahead because up until this point, he starts talking about religion and other things, and we don't need to hear him say that. So I just skip a little bit into the the start of this. Also, if you guys are wondering if I'm gonna do his mom's statement, his grandma's statement, all of those things, the victim statements, yes, I am, but I am gonna do them on a live stream, which is gonna be tomorrow and the day after. So stay tuned to that. Come out to the live streams. I like to do them and interact with you guys because I don't think I can do those alone. So if you guys wanna see those, stay tuned. If you're watching this in the future, just look up for the video that's titled victim statements, and it's gonna say something about statements. It's gonna be there. Don't worry. All right, so without further ado, link to the original video because I'm gonna talk a lot about it in this video. I'm gonna pause a lot and I'm gonna say a lot, so I'm sorry about that. But if you wanna hear it without commentary, link in the description below. Here's the yeah, I can never say his name. Yeah, Sanotonio. I don't know if that's the way that I'm supposed to say it, but that's his edit. All right, let's do it.
The Bible says that he was exalted, given a name that is above all names, so that at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow in heaven, on earth, and under the earth, and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord to the glory of God the Father. It's not just something that I was taught by my family. It's something I believe in my heart. I just want to clarify one thing.
First of all, I just want to say I don't buy any of the religion stuff. He's just doing that right now because he's low. He's one of those persons that if things are going all right, he doesn't remember religion. He doesn't remember any of that. He only talks about that when things get hard. So I don't buy any of that. If he were to get free today, he will stop being that whole Jesus and stuff thing. I'm sure of that.
A lot of references was made to one of the things I said regarding my conscience being clear.
Well, you did say that. I don't know why are you why how can one interpret something different about that? You did say that your conscience was clear. You're a monster.
Having the time to think about it last night and to understand that the victims have the right to feel how they want to feel. They have the right to their opinions, and understanding that there's a lot of emotion, pain, frustration, anger, hatred, a lot of emotions. But I don't want that comment to be twisted. I don't want that comment to become another narrative that's ran with and taken out of context.
What context? We hear that your whole finals, your closing argument. You said it black and white. I'm forgiven. I asked God for forgiveness. I'm cool. That's the context.
That comment was made because I made the decision to rededicate my life to Christ when this tragedy happened. In no way did that comment refer to not having any remorse, not having any understanding. It was strictly made to that point that I have repented, that I have asked God for forgiveness, that I have sent many prayers up. Learning how to wrap my head around this whole situation has been extremely hard.
So I'm sure it's been hard for you, Darrell. I'm sure you are the victim here. Let's talk about you a little bit more.
Extremely hard. You get minimal time to reflect in a place like this. But one of those minimal times that you get to reflect in a place like this is when you're alone in your cell.
What else do you have to do other than reflect on what you did? You're in jail. There's not much to do there. So you have all the time to reflect.
When it's just you and the walls. One of the victims made a comment about trying to understand why this happened. That's a question I struggle with myself. The why, the how.
You have trouble finding out how? I can tell you how. There's videos about how.
How could life ever get this far away from what it should be? Regardless of what a lot of people may think about me, about who I am, about my family, about my beliefs, I know who I am. God knows who I am. And I don't have any words of anger, any shots, so to speak, to throw back. As I said before, I had to look inside myself and understand why the comments was being made.
Yeah, they're justified to what they said. And you keep saying like they were attacking you. Yes, they were saying mean stuff about you because they saw what you do. The whole yelling, the disrespectful comments, the not showing any empathy other than the acted fake ones that you can obviously see that they are not. But he's still like, oh, I was attacked. I didn't understand. I had to understand them.
Why people feel the way they feel, and they have the right to.
You are not the one to tell them what their right is. You just have to take it.
If I may.
No, don't you dare talk to them. You haven't earned that. You haven't apologized to them. No.
You just need to turn forward, sir. I don't know that they're ready for that yet.
Respect it. I think it's important to state why I did want to turn. Comment was made about this mask. It's something that I've worn the whole year of this incident.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say.
By the way, you wore it backwards this whole year, so you don't even know how to put on a mask.
No, but I don't feel like I needed to go in too wild. Chose to wear this. There are a lot of different reasons why, but it definitely has nothing to do with hiding anything. There is nothing to hide. When you're on TV.
How many reasons do you guys think that he will need to put on a mask? 1, to not spread germs. Fair enough. 2, that's about it.
Every day, when your life is being dissected for the world to see, when your family's on TV every day in some capacity, when you're on pretty much every social media platform, what is there to hide from? I want each and every victim in this incident, family members, those who lost loved ones, those who are still healing. I want you to know that no matter how you felt during this year. No matter how you felt yesterday, I want everyone to know, also the community of Waukesha, I want you to know that not only am I sorry for what happened, I'm sorry that you could not see what's truly in my heart.
Notice that he didn't say, I'm sorry for what I did. He's not taking, he's still right here apologizing, and he still can admit that he did something. He is sorry for what it happened. But he doesn't say, I'm sorry for what I did to you. I'm sorry for taking loved ones from you. I'm sorry for scarring you guys for life. He cannot do it. He doesn't have the capacity to accept that he did something wrong.
That you cannot see the remorse that I have. That you cannot listen to all the phone calls that I've made to my family. That you can.
I wish I could hear those. I'm gonna try to get those phone calls. Don't worry. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get them, but I'm gonna try.
Not hear all the prayers that I've said in my cell. That you cannot count all the tears that I've dropped in this year. The truth is hard a lot of times. I'm not very old by age standards, but I've been alive long enough to understand that a lot of people are comfortable with hearing what they want to hear, being told what they want to be told, and being okay with that. It's easy to accept what's on the surface. It's easy to accept what's being put out there. It's harder to pull back the veil. It's harder to look deeper than the surface. And regardless to the truth, I understand that there are many people that would never forgive what happened. I have to be okay with that.
Again, he's referring to himself. He's like, oh, there's a lot of people angry that will never forgive me. I have to just live with it. I'm sure that's hard, Darrell. I'm sure.
And I hold no ill will towards them for that.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure we were all worried if you were resentful towards the victims.
I have to be okay with the fact that people will be angry. Some for a long time, some forever. I think it was clear with respects to how I'm viewed. I will not respond to those comments in anger either.
Wow, thank you. You're so very kind, Mr. Brooks. You're not gonna respond to the victims with anger. Thank you.
I want to also say that it is not me that can take any pain away, replace what was lost, give back joy, happiness. There's so many other things that was lost that day. I think all that.
He's talking about himself. He's talking about all that he lost. He's talking about not being able to live in his mom's backyard, not being able to go and do illicit substance, not being able to go and I don't know, all those things that he lost. That's what he's talking about.
That comes with belief in Christ. I believe that all that comes with time. It's a process. It's a process that we all have to go through. I noticed a lot of things that I've said over the duration of this trial. There's a lot of misconception. I don't consider myself to be a man of God yet. It's something that I'm learning with time, with faith, with study.
Thankfully, you're gonna have over 1,000 years to get there, Brooks. So good for you.
Lord willing, I will make it to that point at God's appointed time. Something that I'm learning. For anyone that doesn't think that I've spent time in the scriptures even before this, you're mistaken. Passages were quoted from Romans.
Noting passages. Hear me out. Reading the Bible, knowing passages about the Bible, doesn't make you a person of God. Doesn't make you religious. It just says that you are posing as someone religious. You have to actually adhere by those beliefs. Practice what you read. And if your history is anything to go by, you never did that. So you don't get to tell us that we are wrong. We see what you did. We see how you treat other people. That's not on the Bible.
6:23 in particular, the wages of sin is death. The wages of sin is death. That's Romans 6:23. It's a verse I'm very familiar with that I've read numerous times. Countless other passages are all passages that I'm familiar with. The thing about scripture is not only studying and reading it, it's about applying it to your life, applying it. It's not about just reading it or being able to quote it. It's about living it.
Yes, and you didn't live by it at all. When does it say that you can hit people? When does it say there that you can just be this person that you are, not feeling empathy for anyone, and still call yourself that? It's just not how it works.
At times during this, doing all these proceedings, mostly trial, I've become frustrated at times.
At times, every day.
I want you, Your Honor, to know, I want the entire court to know that regardless to what you may think about those particular incidents, they were not personal.
So when you say to the judge that she had no integrity, that she didn't deserve to be a judge, all of that was not personal? That was just business?
Being here throughout this year and the constant learning how to deal with everything, learning how to take everything in, what you see, what you hear, things being shouted at you, the threats, and everything that you have to deal with just being here. It was like a culmination. Sometimes you get so frustrated because you feel like your hands are tied. You don't know what to do. And for a person like me, it's easy for me to get to that point.
Well, if you didn't know what to do, it was your own fault. You decided not to have counsel. You made this hard for you. You made this really hard for yourself. And it was your decision, your problem, your mistake. So it's all on you.
And so they would come out in frustration. I take responsibility for that and apologize to you, Your Honor, in the court. Nothing about it was personal. It was a part of me that felt that I haven't been able to defend myself. I think it was just the pot boiling over. I was wrong for not being able to control myself the times that I wasn't me. For long as I can remember.
And again, he's saying I was wrong for not being able to control myself. Like he's kind of admitting something, but he's still not. He's saying that it's something that is in me that I cannot control, so it's not my fault. But I'm sorry.
I've dealt with a lot of issues. And going back to what I said a little bit earlier, about what people see on the surface. A lot of people don't understand what it is to battle mental health issues. Not just that, but the difficulties of life in general. The childhood I had, not having a father, having to see my mom sometimes work 2 and 3 jobs just to be able to support us. I remember being a child and me and my sister, my mom only had 2 children. My sisters passed away, but I remember being a child and me and my sister and my mom standing in the welfare line to get milk, to get cheese, bread, Spam.
My guy, you had stuff to eat. You had help to get stuff to eat. You weren't starving. You should consider yourself lucky.
And when you're a kid, you don't understand that. You think it's normal. I remember living in apartment buildings infested with rodents and bugs, pouring in cereal in your bowl and having bugs in it.
Again, he's trying to make this pity story about himself and his childhood. But you had a roof over your head. You had food to eat. Yes, probably the cereal went bad and then they had bugs in it, but and you didn't have to eat that. But that doesn't justify anything that you did when you were 40 years old.
A lot of people weren't raised like that, so it'd be hard for them to pull back that veil and understand that.
Oh, I'm gonna when we finish with this videos, we are really close to it. When we finish with this, I'm gonna do a wrap up video about this, and this comment in particular, I'm gonna go into a deep for that. So
Physical abuse by the people that are supposed to love you. Trying to understand why your mind thinks the way it does, why you don't comprehend certain things, why no one can provide the answers that you want. Fact of the matter is, I have at times been medicated. I have been in mental health facilities, only for a short time. I can honestly say that life was better. It helped. I think when you're going through something mentally that you don't understand, it always helps when you have people not so much that can relate. That also helps, but it's more, it's not the relating part of it, it's more of the that you can feel comfortable being yourself with. Someone to listen, someone to tell you that, hey, it's all right. You can't let your guard down. It's a lot. And back to what I said about truth. People are going to, like I said, believe what they want, and that's okay. But this needs to be said.
what?
What happened on November 21st, 2021 was not an attack.
Okay, not an attack, but you just yell at the whole courtroom because they believe something. And he's not yelling to the courtroom, he's yelling to Susan right now. And we are past his pity party. Like, we are past him apologizing. Now we're going into the other people. Let's see that switch in attitude.
It was not planned, plotted. When you constantly hear that, perpetuated, constantly pushed, you wonder why. Why? This was not an attack. This was not an intentional act.
Look at that. Look at this face. Oh, sorry. I just hit my mic. Look at this face. Does this face looks like someone that that it's remorseful? Does this face someone that forgives? Because he talked about forgiveness, and now can you think that he can forgive Susan Hopper for the way he treated her? No, he's just an hypocrite.
No matter how many times you say it over and over, it was not. I have a lot of, and this has nothing to do with the victims, the families of the victims. And as a matter of fact, I'm grateful that they had the opportunity to voice their opinions and their frustrations and their angers. Hopefully that will alleviate some of the wounds. I could never point a finger at them and say they're wrong for what they said, their opinions, how they feel. Never. And I won't do it. I won't do it now, and I won't do it ever. They're well within their rights to feel how they feel. I felt a lot of frustration and anger yesterday, not towards any of the victims. It was towards Miss Susan L. Opper. And I won't even throw shots back at her.
Sure. Let's see how long.
I choose.
Let's see how long that lasts. Let's see how long, like he was gonna say today, how long he goes through the high road.
To take the high road.
Sure.
In spite of the clear language that was used by her.
What language? We saw that in the last video. She didn't say anything towards you. She called you evil. She called you a coward. She called you chicken. Which was hilarious, by the way. But she never said anything disrespectful. She only told truths about you, and you cannot handle that.
Not gonna fire back.
Wow.
I'm not gonna do that.
Sure.
Am I angry? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But so what? When it boils down to it, the whole prosecution team had a job to do. Can't be mad at somebody for doing their job. Attorney Basie, Attorney Witchow, I respect you guys. Regardless of what you may feel about me, I respect you guys. I really do. I respect you too, Attorney Opera. The difference between all you guys is you, Attorney Opera, I don't respect how you did your job. And I never will.
Remember about all the stuff about forgiveness and all of that? I guess he's never gonna forgive.
But I refuse to get into name calling. I refuse to raise my voice. I refuse to do any of that. And I realized that last night. The part of me that I don't understand why it goes the way it goes had every intention to come in here and lay into you.
Yeah, we saw the officer in the other video where when you were feeling like laying over Susan, he was ready to catch you there. You cannot lay anything into her.
Out of frustration and out of the fact of feeling that I needed to defend myself by some of the things you said. How you had the audacity to speak on situations that had nothing to do with this tragedy, as if you were there, as if you had intimate details, as if you knew everything that led up to those allegations. just by reading the police report.
But that's what you did. The whole trial, you tried to assume what everyone else did and think just by reading a report. That was your whole strategy.
I think every situation is unique in its own way. It all has different circumstances that leads to ultimately what ends up happening. Reading the police report doesn't give you the right to pass judgment on a situation that, frankly, is none of your concern.
It became her concern when she was charging you. So it is her concern. I'm sorry.
Honestly, you would think for someone that's been doing your job as long as you have, you would think you would understand that. You would think that you have some kind of integrity. Even with that, not gonna bash, not gonna say anything disrespectful, not gonna call you anything other than your God-given name. As far as the integrity though,
I'm not gonna say anything, but let me say this.
I won't ever be able to wrap my head around why you did things the way you did it. Made reference to this being an open and shut case. Yet you needed a whole team to prosecute an open and shut case, as you say. And again, no disrespect to Attorney Basie, Attorney Whitchild. I feel like they was the reasons why your case had any strong points, not from you.
Wow.
31 years, you said, well, yeah, you did say 31 years. You've done this. 31 years. I don't believe you're that bright.
Remember when he said that he was not gonna bash? He said that 5 seconds ago. And he's bashing now. He cannot keep his word for 10 seconds.
Yet,
Yet.
I respect you having the resolve to take on something of this magnitude for this community. Can't do nothing but respect that. And regardless, when I leave this courtroom, I will have no ill feelings with anyone. I know this is being live streamed. I believe even in other countries. I've gotten some mail from Germany, Belgium. A lot of it hate mail.
Also, shout out to my friends that watch me in Belgium and Scotland, Germany, France. I have like 1 people that watch me in those countries. Thank you. Hello.
Which doesn't. I stopped reading it months ago, so it doesn't really affect me. It's irrelevant. I do want to say
Nah. You read every letter that you get. Every single letter, I'm sure you read it. Hate mail or not, you read that.
something to everybody watching. As far as those who take the time, spend the energy and money to write and spew hate, not just against myself, but my family, my children. I have no value in anything that you say. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me.
And why are you talking about it? It seems like it bothers you and affects you. If it didn't, you wouldn't even bring it up.
Keep up the bad work.
He's referring to us. All of us that watch him and mock him and call him out for what he says. Look at this face. He's like, it doesn't affect me, but it does. I'm sure it does. He has wet paper thin skin.
To everyone else, the people that have sent letters of support, I thank you for that, because it's not an easy thing to show love and support to someone who's the most hated man on the planet at this point right now in time.
Who are you? No, you're not the most hated person in the world. There's wars going over right now, as and at the time that you were doing this. Don't think that much of yourself. You are hated. You are evil. You're a monster. But you don't get to receive that title. You're not that important.
It's not easy. It takes a lot of courage to do that. I thank you for that. My family thanks you for that. I want to say to the mother of my children, the mothers, excuse me, of my children. Obviously, I think I should start with the obvious, Erica Patterson. I want you to know, if you're watching, I always have love for you. You're one of the mothers of my children. I can never hate you. I refuse to go that route. I always have love for you. I always respect you. We got a beautiful daughter. I haven't always been right in the things that I've said, things I've done in regards to you. What I will say is, it always takes two.
Wow. So he's saying that she made him do it. It was not his decision. All the stuff that she did to Erica, it was because of her too.
I pray that at some point you will reconcile with your children.
And again, he has to get in there that she's a bad mom, that she doesn't have her children.
And that you remember who I am here in my heart. That you remember that. My oldest son, who's an adult, his mother, beautiful, beautiful spirit. I thank her for the times that she was there to listen when no one else was. When I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on in life, and I was being pulled to this direction or that direction, and just couldn't figure things out. She would take the time to sit and listen, and I thank her for it. Times where I had nowhere to go, she would find me in the back of abandoned cars or trucks or something of that nature, and she would do things to help. You know, it's a lot of people, a lot of good people out there in the world still. She's one of them. I thank you, Angel. That's her name too, by the way, Angel.
We know. You made a big deal about it when the detective Casey say her name. And now you're saying it just outright? Why?
When I was all over the place mentally, couldn't sit still, couldn't make decisions, trying to figure out how life would go being young parents, the both of us. She never once judged me. She never once ridiculed me and downed me because of my issues. She always was willing to be there. I'm eternally grateful for that. Jessica, my youngest daughter's mom, I believe it's a reason why God puts anyone in your life at the time that he does. You came into my life at a time where everything was chaotic. I didn't have a clue how to even begin to put one foot in front of the other. You came into my life at a time where I was pondering, what did I even have to live for?
Well, you had children. I will guess that that's one big reason to live for, to care and tend for your children. Just an opinion.
And in the midst of that, you gave me my daughter, my baby girl. always get emotional talking about her in particular because she's such a daddy's girl. We're very, very close. Very close.
So close that she lives in another state.
I felt like when Missy was born, that was God giving me a chance to make good on the mistakes I made with my other older two children at the time. I felt like that was redemption. Everything that I didn't do right before, I had the chance to right that wrong. She's probably the single-handed reason why I'm even still breathing.
Wow. Take that, all of his other children, family, the people that support him. I guess they don't matter. And his youngest son, too.
She's such a light in my life. Such a light. She doesn't even understand the extent of everything that's going on. She doesn't know what it is not to be able to talk to me when she wants to be able to see me when she wants to. She just doesn't get it. And I know that. And I'm mindful that there are people in this community that feel the same exact way. That
Wow. So he's comparing his suffering and the other suffering of her child with the community. No, never do that.
lights in their life that were taken.
Really?
So
So you're comparing yourself and her to someone who passed away? Really? You're saying that the loss that your child had because now his dad is in jail is equivalent to what the community is suffering? No. He's so tone deaf.
being insensitive to that, I'll move past that.
And he's moving past it. Oh, thank you, Darrell. Thank you for moving past that.
Just want to tell my baby girl that I love her. I love you, Missy. My baby boy was born in June during the time that I've been here. His mother, Quita. I regret not being able to be there for the times that both of them needed me the most. It's not an easy thing for a woman to go through a pregnancy with virtually no help, having to move residencies because of this tragedy, not feeling safe while she was pregnant, not feeling safe, receiving threats, things like that. And I wasn't there. I know what it's
Yeah, whose fault is that?
like to be at the birth of your children and see them born and cut the umbilical cord and to do all those things. I've done that.
And as far as I know, that's the only thing that you did. You get out of that hospital, and that was the last time that you did something for your kids.
And to not be able to do it for her and for him. To only know what he looks like because of pictures. For her to not feel safe to be in the city or be around my family members, to build that rapport, because she can't mentally deal with everything that comes with. And for me to not be able to help her for me to not have any words to uplift her expressing her anger to me, not knowing how everything would go. It's hurtful. I want her to know I believe God has a plan for everything, and it's about doing the best you can inside of God's will. Say what you want about me. I'm not gonna walk away from my children. I refuse to walk away from my children.
Again, because when you when you were arrested, you said that none of your children live with you, or that they live with you and they actually don't. So you're just saying stuff. You walk away from your children the moment that you stop supporting them. Don't have children if you cannot support them. If you're gonna be this person, it's not worth it to them.
I love all four of you, and that won't stop for nothing, no matter what. A lot of reference yesterday was made about death in reference to opinions towards myself. I do not fear death. Not one bit. I do not fear death because I'm in Christ. Whether we believe it or not, at some point, we all have a date. Everyone on this planet has a date. In the word, it says that it is appointed to man once to die. The way I see it, it's inevitable, so why fear it?
Let's see if that holds up when you are back in general population. I don't believe that.
I'm 1,000,000% confident in where I'm going when this is all over. 1,000,000% confident.
Yeah, we also know where where you're gonna go. You're gonna go to jail for the rest of your life after this is over, and that's where you're gonna stay. All right, this is a good point to stop. I'm going to come back next episode with the second part of this. But what do you guys think of his words so far? You think he was being honest? You think he's being the apology to the victims was real? You think he was? Well, tell me what you think about his statement. I don't think he was being real at all. He's just talking because he likes to hear himself. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a great day. Bye bye.